Yeah, sure. We can see it.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So my name is Kennedy Ogweno. I'm a PhD candidate, currently taking medical microbiology at PhD level. And actually my proposal is all about antimicrobial resistance. So I think this meeting all of us are going to gain a lot from it. And just to start it off, to talk about grant proposal writing, management, and report writing, I just want to start by mentioning, let's start with the definition bit of it. What is a proposal? That's the most important thing. What is a proposal? Because we have got different proposals. We've got proposal for grant. We've also got proposal for probably for students at academic level. But in general, proposal is a sophisticated sale from the point of sales and marketing, a piece that you develop to define a client's problem or opportunity, to sell to the client on your ability to provide solutions and strategies to their satisfaction. That is according to the Hamper and Borg 2011. Now, you are trying to sell an idea to a client. Let's say you want to talk about some ideas, probably for some of the things that probably you are able to do, that you see yourself or you are specializing in, that you are able to do, so that you can be funded. So you write a piece to this type of client, then you sell it. That is what, generally in a nutshell, that is what we call a proposal. You sell it to the client. And this thing must have a solution in line with the problem that this client has. So to go to the types of proposal, I'm going to categorize them into 6 groups. Number 1 group, based on purpose. Under based on purpose, we have what we call solicited proposal. This is submitted in response to a specific request for proposal.
Sorry so much for that bit of interruption. So are you able to put it in a presentation mode?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me see. I think that's okay?
Perfect. That's okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I think that's okay. So based on purpose, based on purpose, we have what we call solicited proposals. This is submitted in response to a specific request for proposal issued by the funding organization. And it must follow the funders' guidelines and requirements. And at the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you a certain proposal for Cancer Research Institute of Kenya that I wrote, so that we were supposed to be funded, like it was something to do with 3 million Kenya shillings, but unfortunately it did not go through. So, but it's not in Word PowerPoint. I think it is in Word document. I was not able to make it into PowerPoint. So number 2 is unsolicited proposals. Unsolicited proposal is initiated by the proposer to pitch a project or idea to potential funders or stakeholders without prior request. It requires more effort to capture the audience attention. That is to say, let's say, for the solicited proposal, this is now where the funder has a problem. He has requested for proposals, okay? Now you have to pitch your proposal so that you can state the problem that the funder has and the solution. What are some of the solutions that you're going to put into place? The unsolicited proposal, this is now where you have got an idea, then you approach an organization or a funding body, then you tell them that my proposal is this. I think according to what you can offer to my problem, I think this is what I have, and this is what I can. These are some of the solutions that I can put into place. So that is falling under unsolicited proposals, and it requires more effort to capture the audience attention, which means you must capture the attention of the audience in these unsolicited proposals. Then C, we have what we call renewal or continuation proposal. This is submitted to extend or renew funding for an ongoing project. It focuses on the project's achievements and the need for the continued support. Now, what we normally, sometimes you've got funding for your a certain projects that you need to do. Then at the end of the day, let's say if the project is supposed to go for let's say for 2 years, they normally say maybe 2 years renewable or 2 years fixed term project. So renewal project proposals is now you submit another proposal so that you can get a funding so that your project can be renewed. That is falling under renewal or continuation proposal. Then supplemental proposal. Now, request additional funding for a project already underway due to unforeseen circumstances or expanded scope. Now, when you are writing a proposal or a grant proposal, there are some issues that may crop up that you did not put into your budget. So these things, they may outweigh the kind of the type of funding that you're given. So what happens is you are able to, you are allowed to write what we call supplemental proposal. Now you are requesting for additional funding, explaining some of the circumstances and unforeseen circumstances that probably cropped in along the journey as you are doing the projects. Let's say something like, let's say something like the workload has increased. Now you need to add additional staff. What happens? You are able to discuss with your funding organization so that you're requesting them that due to the nature of the work and the workload that has increased, the budget that we agreed upon is not able to capture this type of stuff. Now, what happens now, you can write a proposal requesting for additional funding. That is called supplemental proposal. Now, based on content, this is number 2, group 2, based on content. We have research proposals now. This one outlines plans for conducting research, including objective, methodology, expectation, outcomes, and budget. Now, this is the general proposal that we normally write. You want to conduct a certain proposal. What happens is you need to state your objectives. Most of the time, we normally write 3 objectives at undergraduate and at master's level. But at times, at PhD level, I think it depends with the type of university, but at PhD level, most of the time, it's about at minimum 5 objectives. Minimum 5 objectives. Now, this research proposal must have a methodology. It's very important, a methodology. How are you going to carry out this type of research? How are you going to carry out this type of research and expected outcomes and the budget? Now, just to talk about methodology, we have we have the methodology and the research methods. The methodology is now this outline that you are going to follow to conduct this type of research. And we've got what we call the quantitative research and qualitative research. Now, the quantitative research is dealing with the indices, it's dealing with the numbers, but qualitative research is dealing with the perceptions for the social arts. It's dealing with the perceptions and the experiences of the research participants. Now, that is a major difference between the quantitative and the qualitative. Now, just to talk about the quantitative in terms of methodology, we've got different types of research methodology that you can apply in quantitative method. For example, at times you can write a cross-sectional study design, study design. At times we have what we call case controls. Sometimes we have what we call the control research methods. You see, where you have the control group and the other group on research. So these are some of the types of the research methodology that we normally use, okay? And when we come to the qualitative bit of it, we can also as well use what we call the cross-sectional qualitative method, where generally this is a one-time kind of study which is conducted at a particular given period of time. Then we have what we call, sometimes we normally have what we call, where we normally follow up longitudinal studies, where we follow up participants. Now, let's say participants are coming into your research. After every 3 months, you follow them up. They come back for what we call, probably you take maybe, like I'm in the health department now, we normally take, let's say after every 3 months, we take blood samples. Then after another 3 months, they come back for monitoring, and another 3 months. So you follow up, you follow them up for a period like 1 year or 2 years. That is called a longitudinal kind of a study. That is falling under the research proposal. So that was just, by the way, trying to dwell into so much so that we can as well understand what the methodology that we can be using in both quantitative and qualitative research proposals, okay? It's common in academic, scientific, and medical fields. Actually, it's common in academic and scientific and medical fields. But just to reiterate on that, methodologies, when you are writing a proposal, you will be asked, what is your methodology? That's very key. How are you going to identify these participants to participate in this kind of project? I've seen so many students in the academic field, they are being asked, when you go there to defend your proposal, you are asked, in fact, they are not busy with the literature review, but they are busy with chapter 3. How are you going to select your participant? Number 2, if you want to conduct a study with, let's say, 300 participants in a certain location, how did you arrive at these 300? So there are various methods of calculating sample size, and there are various methods of selecting this number that you've calculated, okay? So they are common in academic and scientific and medical fields as well. And C, yeah, B, I think that's okay. It features B. I'm not able to see this. Are you able to see that on top?
Yeah,
it's
okay.
so
So,
Yeah,
we can see
yeah,
business
the business. Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the business proposal. Yeah, that's okay. The business proposal. So pitches business idea, the product, service to potential investors, partners, and clients. So this one is in the business field. You've got a kind of business that you want to take to conduct. Then you write what we call business proposals. So it's categorized. It's under under what we call based on content. So this one is a business proposal that generally deals with the business. Then we have the project proposals, focusing on implementing a specific project, often for non-profit or development. Normally includes problem statement, objectives. So they are more or less the same, but this one is a project proposals, and this one is a research proposals. So they are more or less the same. So there is that research proposal. How do you want to conduct this kind of a research? And this one also focuses in implementing specific objective, but often for non-profit. You see this? Most of the time it's for non-profit or development. And probably it may include something to do with some of the projects that are conducted in the community that are free for profit. It also includes problem statement, objectives, and implementation strategy, and expected impact, okay? So just to talk about problem statement, how do we go about problem statement? We are writing a project proposal. And this problem statement is also in the proposal, the research proposal, okay? Problem statement, how are you problematizing your research so that that problem can come out very clearly? It can come out with a lot of clarity. This also has a problem. Sometimes you find students writing so many pages of things that are not there. And they say that this is a problem statement. Actually, when you are conducting your project or a research proposal, you are asked, what is the problem? What is new thing that so many people have not conducted there? So you need to go back to your literature review and find out what are some of these things that are new into my objective and the topic. And this type of problem, how is it going to benefit me and the society as well? So this is a problem that normally I normally get in problems in most research and project proposals. Development proposals as well, often submitted by NGOs or community organizations for developing projects, probably in health, education, or infrastructure. So these development proposals are for NGOs and some community-based organizations as well. It emphasizes on sustainability and social impact. The next one is technical proposals, provides technical solutions to specific problems, often used in engineering and IT construction. So those guys that are in the IT and engineering sector normally write this type of proposal. They are technical proposals. So their proposals can be categorized as technical proposals, which of course include technical details, cost estimates, and timelines. Probably engineering sectors that are dealing with the and the roads and the construction industry. These are the type of proposal that they normally write. And based on submission format, there is what we call a concept note or proposals. When you want to do a research, you'll be told to write a concept. In fact, what you are writing is a concept first so that it can be seen. Now, let me come back to the academics. You write what we call a proposal or a concept note. This is just a brief summary of the project, the idea submitted to gauge the funder's interest before submitting a full proposal. This is what we call concept notes. And most funders as well, they normally receive the concept notes. They see what is this summary of this project that you want to conduct, so that at least they can be engaged, they can gauge, their interest can be gauged on this concept notes that you've written. Okay, then we have full proposal. Now, this is the comprehensive documents. After concept note, this is the comprehensive documents, of course. And letter proposal, a short formal letter outlining the funding request and project summary, often submitted as a precursor to a full proposal. It's just a short formal letter. Okay, then number 4, I think I said there are 6. Now, number 4, based on audience. Based on audience, number 1, we have internal proposals. It's addressed to an organization, internal stakeholders to request resources supporting a project. These are just internal proposals based on the audience. It's addressed to an organization, internal stakeholder to request resources. Okay, then we have the external one, which is directed at external entities such as funders now. So these are some of the categories that we can use to categorize the type of proposals. Then based on the funding type, now we have the one for grant proposals, investment proposal, partnership proposals as well. So these 3, grant proposal now, what we are talking about now is aimed at securing funding. Of course, this one is for securing funding. Probably if the funding is for conducting your research projects, or funding is gauged at maybe aiding some projects within the society or within the community. And investment proposals target investors to secure funding for the startup of business ventures. Then partnership proposals, these seek collaborations or joint ventures between organizations. So we can as well write together, another company comes in, our company also comes in, then we write together. So these are based on the funding type as well. These are just categories. So sometimes you may find some terms that more or less look like, but the last one is the specialized proposals. The strategic proposals focuses on long-term goals and strategies often linked to organizational growth. Okay? Yes. Then advocacy proposal aimed at influencing policy or gaining support for a cause or social issue. So these are called advocacy proposals aimed at influencing policy. Then feasibility study proposal propose to assess the practicality or viability of a project or initiative. You're just trying to look at the practicality or viability. This is what we call feasibility study proposals. You first do what we call feasibility study. So what are you doing? You write a proposal. So that is what we call a feasibility study. Now, that is now what will bring up what we call the general proposal now, so that your study can be jump-started. Okay, just faster. Or D is training and capacity building proposal. So this one is for skills and knowledge, and or at institutional level. So these are for training proposals. You see, sometimes there are organizations, let's say like Emory, where they normally train the researchers. They normally organize some webinars, or they normally organize face-to-face meeting. So what happens is they write proposals to various organizations that will fund that project. So you find this type of trainings, they normally go for 2 or 3 days or a week. They are funded. They are funded because they have collaborated with other institutions that are able to finance this kind of training. So this is falling under training proposal. Now, key component of grant proposal. I said you should have a title, of course, executive summary, statement of need, that is the statement of the problem. And the goal should be broad and specific. That's why we normally have the broad objective and specific objectives. So these are some of the key components of grant proposal. I talked about statement, how it can be written, which of course statement of the problem, when you are writing a statement of the problem for your grant proposal, you must problematize your problem. Let's say, let me give you a good example. Let's talk about maybe antimicrobial resistant patterns, maybe in Nairobi County or in Kiambu County, for example. What is this problem? Why you want to study antimicrobial resistant patterns within these counties? What is this thing that is very new to the audience that will make you to do it, that people have not conducted? You see this? So these are some of the things that we normally look at. Now, for me, for example, my antimicrobial resistant patterns, I'm trying to look at it in view to other resistant genes within these microbials that are against these general antibiotics. So what are these genetic markers? What are these genetic markers? For example, if you are in the pharmacy, drug and thing, you know what we call the beta-lactam drugs, for example. We have some genetic markups that are against these beta-lactam drugs that probably when you use to cure or to treat what we call urinary tract infections, it's continual. It's not going out, as you may think. It's a recurring problem. So we are trying to look at this types of genetic markups that bring resistance. They bring these resistance patterns within this microorganism towards this antibiotic. So what is this problem? And of course, the objectives and the general objectives. But the broad objective is normally the topic of your study. Methodology I've talked about, and budget. Now, budget here, you must have a very focused budget, comprehensive breakdown of cost. You should never leave anything, even contingency measures. You see, when we talked about even what we call the type of proposal where you have to justify where you need additional funding. So these are some of the things that you need to capture in your cost when you are writing your budget. Then monitoring, M&E plan. How progress will this be measured? The indicator, the tools, and the timelines. M&E plan, like timeline, is one of it. If you look at your appendices in your proposal, it's an M&E plan, your timelines, that between this month to this month, I'll be doing data collection. Between this month to this month, I'll be doing data analysis. Between this month to this month, I'll be doing a presentation, okay? So these are some of the M&E plans that are supposed to be there. And sustainability plans, strategies to maintain the project after funding ends. What are you doing to maintain this project after funding ends? So these are some of the key issues that are supposed to be there. Then the organizational profile, highlight the expertise, past successes, and capacity to deliver. Very, very, very important. You must justify. It falls under justification. You have to justify your capacity to deliver. You have to justify. So those are some of the things that funding bodies normally look at. Okay, supplementary documents, your CV, letters of support, charts, etc. So when you are writing for grant, they normally request for the support staff. Because of course, in research, you don't do research alone. There are so many people that will be conducting this research. So let's say you are a principal investigator in a certain research. And you will not be going to the field. Of course, you will need research assistants that will be helping you in terms of collecting data through the surveyors, questionnaires. You also need who we call the statisticians. These are the people that will be doing the analysis, okay? So these are some of the people, in fact, at times you need even the drivers because you'll be going to the field. So these are some of the things that you need to put. They will be asking you this type of supplementary documents, okay? So best practices, these are some of the best practices. Follow the funders' guidelines meticulously. I'll show you those guidelines, like the Cancer Institute, the Kenya Cancer Institute, when they requested for the proposal for some of the some of the research activities within the health sector. They give you the guideline, the font size, what you are supposed to do, how many objectives, what is needed there. So those are, you need to follow such with a persuasive language, and you must align your objective with the funders' priorities. And grammar and accuracy is very key. Grammar is very key. You don't just misspell some of the issues, some of these things, misspelling, a lot of errors. You need to proofread it. That's why when you have PI, when you are the PI of that study, you also have the co-PIs, okay? So these people, you need to write to them so that at least they can help you. Just like writing a manuscript. When you want to submit a manuscript, it will be going through so many reviewers. What happens with the reviewers? They review grammar, everything, the nitty-gritty, before it's submitted for publication. So that's why we write manuscripts, and that's how we write manuscripts. Okay. Grant management. So key activities, we have fund disbursement, which should be very timely. The implementation, you must monitor milestone and adhere to those milestones, okay? You said very well that from this month to this month, this is what's supposed to be done. You must comply with that timeline, okay? And the terms, you must comply with the terms. Meet the funders' reporting and legal requirements. Maintain ethical standards, okay? Ethical standards must be very key, should be maintained. Then coordination, of course, assigned roles clearly. So these are some of the things. When I talk about assigned roles, it's just where you attach the CVs of those people that you'll be working with, and at the same time, the roles of these people. How, if it's the driver will be helping you through driving the vehicle to the field to meet the study participants. As a research assistant will helping you in terms of data collection, training as well. You see, so those are some of the things that are there under the management itself. So I think I'm almost done. Yes. So risk management. Risk management. Identify potential risks early enough, like financial, or they can be operational risks, and you must develop contingency plans. What is a contingency plan? These are some of the measures that you put in place in any case there is an emergency. What happens? What is a contingency plan when in the house, our normal house, when it comes to electricity? Let me give you a good example. When it comes to electricity, when electricity goes off, you have the other lamp. That's a contingency plan. Okay, let me give you, when you are cooking, what is a contingency plan in any case your gas cylinder goes off? You have the jiko and the charcoal. Those are the contingency plans that are supposed to be there. So even in the research level, there are those contingency plans that you must put. And most of the time it's put in the budget. Most of the time it's put in the budget, so that it covers the costs that may be there that were not captured while conducting the research. Then, of course, report writing. You'll be writing and communicating to your funding body about the report and where you've reached. This document that is containing information that is organized in narrative way and graphic form, and it's prepared on an ad hoc. An ad hoc is just a term, it means when necessary or needed. It's organized, it's a narrative. You tell them, well, this is where we've reached. These are some of the things that we've done. These are the things that are still pending. A report, you'll be communicating with your funder each and every day. That's when you go for an interview, most so in NGOs, you are asked, how many times do you read your emails? How many times do you read your emails? It's very key. I was asked such kind of question in an interview some years back. How many times do you read your emails? Because you communicate them through this report, you write them through emails. So you'll be communicating. You should be reading your email very early in the morning when you reach the office. In between, you should be checking your emails. Noon hours, even before you close the work, you should be checking. So it should be some of the things, it should be a continual process. Okay? So according to Business Dictionary of 2012, it's a document. That report is a document that it contains a narrative that is very organized. It can be in graphic, in narrative way, and it can be as little as a 1 page or many hundreds of pages. It does not matter. What matters there is what are you communicating? Which type of report are you writing? That's the most important thing. So these types of report I talked about, you write a report to the funder that this is what we have managed to do, this is what's still pending, and this, so far, these are contingency measures that we still need. So it's communicating. That's a report. So progress report is one of them. Regular updates. That's one I'm talking about. How many times do you guys read emails? Because if you are working with somebody or an organization or a funding body, you should be communicating. You know, some people, most of the time, we Africans, we normally fail on some serious matters. Number one is reading our emails. It's very key. That's why sometimes you can see an email after 3 or 4 days when the deadline already passed. So it's very key to be reading these emails so that at least you can be getting to know, writing your progress reports. Financial report, detailed record of funding use, how you should be telling them, even under that progress report, even that finances is under that progress report. It's only that maybe progress report is in an ambiguous term, but even funding, finance is under it. That's why when we talk about the definition of a report, it's about a narrative and graphic form prepared. So even this financial report, it can be in graphic method, that this is what we've done in terms of percentages, and this is what we've used. That's a financial report. Then the final report, summary of the outcome, impact, and lessons learned. Final report now is the crown of it. You write to your funder, telling them, this is what we've managed to do, and we've completed the study. These are the outcomes. This is how it was impactful. And what are some of the things we learned, the lessons we learned? And what are some of the weaknesses that were there? What are some of the challenges that we observed along? In fact, one study can give you another study. When you write a final report and you state, these are some of the weaknesses that were there, because along as you do your study, you will be realizing what we call gaps. Those gaps are the study. They are not things from the moon. Those gaps are the study. And you can take just a specific gap and you write a proposal for it, a grant proposal. Okay? So I think I'm done. Before I finish, these are the tips of effective report writing. Number one, I say use clear, concise language and data visualization. Should be clear. And tailor the reports to the funder's requirement. Be honest about the challenges and limitations. Okay? That's why when I talk about limitations, what are you, because sometimes you see, when you're writing a proposal, you say, a proposal cannot be 100% perfect. That's why we have what we call limitation as part of that proposal. What are some of the foreseeable limitations? Number one, your study, maybe you are looking at so many locations within a county, and you only want to look for 3 locations. And you are asked, why did you include 4 or 7 locations? Funding it can be a limitation. If your study is not funded, funding is a limitation in that study. Okay, so you must be very truthful and honest about the challenges and limitations. It's something that is accepted in research, and you must highlight key successes and transformative formative stories. Okay, so thank you so much. So this is the end of this presentation. If there is any question, but before then, I just wanted to I don't know whether I'll be able to share the, what we call it. I had a certain type of the grant proposal that I wrote together with other guys for, for the Cancer Institute of Kenya. Yeah. So I just want to remove this one from, are you able to remove it from your end, from the?
I'm not able, so, but you should be able to stop sharing on your end. So on top of this,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I've seen it. I just wanted to there is this okay. So can I share this Word document? Just a quick one before we finish. Yes,
yeah, share it.
yeah, I think I can share it. Mhm. Is it visible?
Yes, yeah, sure. It's visible now.
It's visible, okay? So
Yeah.
so this was a cancer. This was a research proposal that was called by the Cancer Institute of Kenya, and so many people applied for it. So they were supposed to give us something to do with the 3 million Kenya shillings to conduct, and it was within it was supposed to be done within a period of 1 year, yeah, if I can remember. So the title of this project was, this is the title how we wrote it, the prevalence and distribution of human papilloma virus genotypes linked to cervical cancer among women living within the informal settlement of Madari. So this was supposed to be conducted at Oroma Lions Hospital, and this was the title of this project. And so these are some of the people that we were to work with. So you see, I'm just giving you how the CV, those attachments are supposed to be, how they are supposed to. So project summary, you had to write a project summary. Of course, something like the background of the study. It's purely like what we normally do for educational purposes. So this one was supposed to be like this as well. So the background of the study, of course, when you are doing a background of the study, what we call inverted triangle, okay? You start at the global perspective, then you come to the African region and sub-Saharan Africa, then you come to the East Africa, then you come to Kenya, the regional, then you come to your location. So that's how inverted triangle, that's how your project should be. That's why when you write when you write your background with the study, you find your supervisor telling you to use inverted triangle way. okay, so that it can align to that, okay? So this was the background of the study and the problem, okay? The problem statement as well should be problematized. So what happens is you also write it in inverted triangle as well. So when you are writing the problem, so that at least it can capture as per the objective, something that is flowing, so that when somebody sits down and reads, he or she understands what is the problem within this. And you need to use the current literature, because the problem sometimes we have, even in background writing, we normally do a lot of old literatures. Literature review should not be more than 5 years, okay? It should be within these 5 years, the latest. You don't use something like, we are in 2024, but you're using something that was conducted, you are referring to something that was conducted in the year 2012 or 2010. That's outdated, because after then, there are so many projects that have been conducted, okay? So you problematize the problem and you justify. You must justify, you must explain to your fund why you want to do this study. After problematizing, stating your problems, you must explain to your funder why you want to do this study, okay? So this is just a structure. So we talked about the general and the specific objectives, okay? So this is just how we wrote this and the methodology, okay? So I talked about, even at the methodology, how are you calculating your sample size, okay? This is a formula that was used. Sometimes we normally use Yamane's formula for calculating sample size. I think we can read that Yamane formula, so that it's one of the easiest formulas so far you can use, okay? But it's not applicable everywhere. Yamane formula is not applicable anywhere. Like this one is for, it looks like for what we call comparison studies, okay? Where you have your participants and the control group, okay? This is a comparison formula. So this is not, this is not used, Yamane's formula is not applicable everywhere. So you see, like this one, N is the required number of sample size, okay? The Z-score is corresponding to the desired, confidence interval. And arbitrarily, we normally use confidence to be 95%. That's where it's supposed to be 95%. So there's the Z-score for against 95% CI is normally 1.96. And the p-value, which of course is 0.005. 0.05, okay? That is 5%. And then, yeah, it's always the desired margin of error. So these are some of the formulas. So I think in research writing, we should be very keen, sorry, we should be very keen on terms of the calculation of a sample size. So this is just as some of the method of collecting data, because this is a laboratory work where there will be collection, because we are talking about the cervical cancer. So cytology in health, we have cytology. These are some of the tests that are done for diagnosing of cancer issues, okay? Or if you want to do HPV. Then, of course, HPV DNA detection by PCR methods, sampling strategies. So these are some of the, how are you going to do sampling? The already N that you got, how are you going to sample them? Okay, we have random sampling methods, okay? Convenient sampling methods, okay? We have got what we call snowballing sampling method, okay? So random sampling method, when you go to the hospital, you want to get a unpurposive one, and you want to get your participant, anybody randomly, okay? Randomly, you can even do the odd number. The first one, the third one, and the fifth participant. That's how you do your random sampling. Now, purposive, if you are doing what we call, or maybe you want to get information from maybe journalists, okay? Or let me give you a good example. You want to get information, you want a study participant get information from maybe people, business people, for example, okay? The mitumba sellers within the street. What happens? When you are doing such kind of a study, you will only go to the people selling clothes. That is a purposive sampling method. You don't go to the people selling the fruits. That is a purposive sampling method. Okay? Convenience is you want to do any study within town. Anybody that comes, that is convenient to you. There's a convenient sampling method. That's how you're going to select this N that you got. Then snowballing. You know how we conduct snowballing? You get participant A. You tell participant A, now, do you know any other person who looks like you? Participant A will bring you participant B. Participant B will bring you participant C. That's what we call snowballing sampling technique. And of course, data analysis. Data analysis techniques we normally use is PSS softwares. Some people are good in R, people who are good in Stata. That's for quantitative. And for qualitative, we've got also tools that we normally use for qualitative. Do you know qualitative is more about stories, okay? Now, you want to get the perspective or the perception of people, maybe against the SHA, this SHA. Perception, what do they think? How do you collect that type of data? You go to the data, to the field, you talk to them, you interview them, then you record. That's how we collect the qualitative data. Once you record in audio, you come and transcribe. Okay? Once you try and transcribe, once you do that, then you do analysis. Analysis now you do according to the themes that you got. Some people will talk about the themes in terms of maybe expensive, maybe not helping, something of that. That's now thematic analysis is now how we do the qualitative analysis. Now, qualitative analysis, we use the softwares. Software, we have what we call NVivo, we have Deduce. These are some of the software that are used to do qualitative. Okay, so if you read about that, of course, you will understand it. There are some of the nice things within the research field. Ethical considerations. So these are some of the ethics or letters that you get from the ERC. We have NACOSTI as well, and as the body. Of course, you will get letters from the place where you're going to conduct your research. Of course, you'll be cleared. If it's in an hospital setup, you'll be cleared with the management, by the management. So these are some of the ethical considerations that you need to do. So NACOST must be there. These are the people that give you authority to go and collect that data. They give you that permit. It's very important. Then for grant proposal, expected output and impact. That's normally in the grant proposal. Expected output in the grant proposal, we normally lack it in the academic proposals. But in grant, they will ask you to state the expected output. Okay? And the impact, of course. So, and the deliverables as well. So this is just a template, how this study was supposed to, this proposal was supposed to be written. The deliverables, expected outcomes. So I came up with the deliverable list and the deadline. Okay? Okay? I think we can see the deliverable data collection, the milestone, deliverable 7, lab analysis, data incorporation, report writing, the milestone as well. So this was just a template you are given. Now you need to be very concise, you need to be very accurate, and you need to be very objective, okay? And the budget as well, okay? You must come with a budget that is, which is very accurate, okay? This budget includes even the names of these people, what they are supposed to. So when you're doing a budget, you need to do, now, this study is supposed to go for 1 year. This staff need salary at the end of the month, this 12 months as well. They're training things. You need to do some photocopies. in the field, the car needs fuel. So these are the budget. Now you sit down and do your calculation in USD. Some they need it, most funders they need it in USD. So you need to have what is the current exchange rate, okay, and sustainability. Okay, you are going to do paper publication, conference presentation, workshop and seminar, stakeholder engagement, policy briefs, training for healthcare proposals. Okay, so the conference presentations, it's very, once you've done a study, you must write a manuscript. It's very key. You must write a manuscript. You must submit that manuscript for publication so that you can share the knowledge as well. Community workshops and seminars, once you've done a study in a community, go back there and do what we call report dissemination. Okay, call a meeting, do dissemination. What did you find out? How can it be helped? I remember in the year 2022, I conducted a study in Madare slums. Okay, I was looking at the HPV hesitancy, HPV vaccine. If you guys can remember the HPV vaccine that was supposed to be given to young girls between 9 to 13 years, okay? It brought a lot of issues that mothers were not allowing their daughters to be vaccinated against HPV. Why? They thought they will not give birth. Okay? Some of the issues that we had when we conducted such kind of interview, because we were recording, that was a qualitative research, and of course there was a component quantitative as well. In qualitative, you need to do what we call focus group discussions, in-depth interviews with individuals as well. So when you're doing in-depth interview with the specific mothers and the guardians of these young girls, when you ask them, why didn't you allow your daughter to be vaccinated against HPV virus? They tell you, oh, Daktari, this thing, people say this thing my daughter will not give birth. This vaccine leads to sterility. You see, so there are so many myths. There are so many myths. Now, when you are done with that kind of research, you write a report, you do dissemination to the community. You said, now you tell them what you found out and how can it be beneficial to these people, because you are not just doing research, of course. You are doing research with an impact. Okay, that's why, of course, we are calling for various grants to help us conduct such kind. So I think these are an example. And of course, references, okay? I talked about references. Those references are very key. The latest within 5-year plan, those references are very key. They are very key, very, very key. And of course, when you're writing this kind of research proposals, it's very easy. It's very easy to use. You must use what we call software. There are various software that are supposed to be used. Okay? There are various software that you can use, like Zotero, you can use to insert your reference tool. You don't just do manual things. As a professional, you must use various softwares to help you in what we call referencing. It's a referencing tool, of course. It's very key. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Those are some of the things that we had. I think at least we've learned something. So if there is any question, I think the floor is open. Any adjustment, something like that?
Okay, thank you so much, Kennedy. That was a very wonderful presentation, very comprehensive. Myself, I've learned a lot. Very great. Really believe that even the rest of the team have done something. Because even I think some of us, or most of us here, maybe today are coming across how to write a research proposal. And I can say that this is quite important, even for these upcoming AMR researchers. So I think we have now to proceed to the next part, that is the Q&A session. Please raise up your hand, or as well you can post it in the chat box, and we can be able to respond to your questions. So if you have any questions to the previous presenter, that is me or Kennedy, please don't hesitate to ask. yeah, before we end the call, because we are about to call it off. But before that, kindly you can share, you can ask your question if you have any. Okay, Edwin, I can see your hand is up. Please unmute and go on.
Okay, thank you for the wonderful presentation, Kennedy. And I have a question for Kennedy.
Yes.
I heard you talk about number of pages in report writing. You said it can even be 1 page, but I didn't heard you talking about number of pages in grant proposal. Does it have a minimum number of pages that it should have? And the second question maybe when writing budget, your budget, or what you need and amount it will cost, do you need to explain the reason as to why you need that? For example, if you need a car, do you need to explain why you need that car and its use in the budget section?
Yeah, thank you so much, Edwin. Now, what happens is for the budget, let me start with the budget. You must justify. You must justify. You don't just put things arbitrarily. There is that section of justification of the budget. In fact, the funder will give you a template for that budget. Every funder has a template for that budget. And every budget for these funders, they normally have the justification part of it. You must justify why you need maybe one car and not 2 cars. You must justify why you need 2 data analysts and not 1 data analysts. Okay? So there is just bit of justification. It's very key. Thank you so much for that question. In the budget template, most funders, they normally give you, you don't just come up with your own template, but they have their template and the guidelines that you will need to fill your figures there. Maybe if your staff needs 100,000, you justify what will they be doing. Okay? So you justify person A and B, data analyst, 100,000 Kenya shillings per month. Now, must we give him or her this 100,000 Kenya shillings? Because these are some of the roles that the person will be conducting, 1, 2, 3. So there is just justification, bit of it. And the question that you've asked about the number of pages. Number of pages for grant writing, the funder will also tell you it should be supposed to be maybe 2 page, 1 page for the grant proposal. 2 page, 1 page, or 3 pages. Okay? Should not go past this number of pages or should not go past this number of words. They can tell you number of words or number of pages. Okay? For the grant proposal writing. And another thing, in terms of the report can have one, report is not about proposal, okay? You are just giving a report on the progress of the study. That's why I talked about it can be even 1 page. And normally reports are written on emails. That's why I say the report can go as 1 page or 2 page, or it can be so many pages because what are you putting on that report? That's the most important thing. Thank you so much, Edwin.
Thank you so much, Kennedy, for that response. And yeah, Edwin, I hope that was well answered. All right, so I don't think there's any other question. Since there's no question in the chat box, yeah, just waiting to see if we can have one more, but I think everything is clear. I assume that everything is clear and well understood. Yeah, because I can't see one or more questions coming, but I think that's okay. And we'll just proceed to end of our webinar. But before that, I really would like to give Kennedy a chance to speak one or two final remarks before we end of the session.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Oh, there is a question.
No, no question, please. Just a remark from Daniel Wadroingi. So he was also commenting of the great and insightful presentation. But Daniel, if you can unmute yourself, you can unmute yourself and also say a word or if any remark for Kennedy before we end the call. Then from there, we can now hand it over to Kennedy.
Okay, thanks so much. Thank you, Kennedy, for that really amazing presentation. I think to our students, it's really something very essential, especially since they'll also be developing a bit of proposals on this. So it's really very insightful, and I believe even as they proceed to do the research proposals at the undergraduate level, they'll also really gain a lot. So there'll be a bit of steps ahead. So thanks so much. We really appreciate having you with us today, and we hope we'll engage further. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Number one, let me start by appreciating the call for Jimmy. Jimmy, you wrote me an email message so that at least we can speak on this platform. I thank you so much because I'm such a person who is so much passionate about training and capacity building and things that are research related. So this one was just timely, and I thank you for that. I think we can continue because you have an audience. We can continue engaging ourselves. It's just for free because you see, knowledge is shared. You don't have that knowledge and you keep it under the table. It's like you are lighting a lamp and you, even the Bible is against it. You are lighting up a lamp and you are putting it under the bed. So I have so much, so much that is that we can share on this platform. Anything that is research related, because with this one, we've just talked about the general thing. But now, if we want to go step by step on how even to do, even how to do even your literature review, I have so much that we can offer on that platform. Even the methodology, which is very key. I have so much that you can use to know which type of research methodology to cite or to do for your such kind of, even how to cite. I was talking about softwares. We can just organize a forum how we can be using something like Zotero to help you do what we call referencing as a reference tool. So I think this is very key for undergraduate students, so that at least when they will be doing their postgraduate training trainings, at least they will have known, because research is very wide and so nice. So keep on coming, guys, and let's organize this one each and every time then when we have that opportunity, so that we bring so many people who can register on board, so that we go forward, because we need to build a big community when it comes to research and training. And I normally do research for manuscript training as well. I normally do training for manuscript writing, okay? Because you see, from a study proposal, you develop a manuscript. This manuscript is what is normally submitted for publication. And we'll go to the Google Scholar, you'll get so many research activities that have been conducted. Those are manuscripts, you see? As much as there are proposals as well for students, but there are manuscripts that are on various platforms, okay? Various journals that you may be interested in. So we can do a lot. Thank you so much, guys. Keep on coming. And my email is there. You can write me email through that email so that I get you your emails for sharing those trainings that we've just done today. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Kennedy. First, I would like also to highly appreciate you first for honoring my invitation to come and share your knowledge here with us. And I'm very, very much grateful for that. Yeah, you know, it's also quite honoring to have you, especially for this very critical part of my training. Because as I mentioned earlier on with you, this is a group of undergraduate students who undergoing a training on antimicrobial resistance, infectious diseases, and then after this, they will also be proceeding to the community to implement their respective projects on AMR, awareness creation and education at the community level. And after that, they will also, before even proceeding to the community level, they have to write a research proposal on a project that they wish to carry out at the community level, on how they collect that data, on how they will write the report and all that, how they will monitor the progress of the reports, and at last even write the narrative report of the project after implementation. This was a very important session today, which I think the audience or the students are able to gain a lot of knowledge, which they can apply in implementing their projects, and not only in this particular Bahamo Vida program, but even beyond, even at the higher level of studies. And thank you so much, Kennedy, for that. And again, thank you so much for your willingness to support even in the future, guiding the students and becoming even a mentor in this area of research and a grant proposal writing, manuscript writing, and all that. And just would like to also request you that in case we need any assistance from you in the future, this is not the end. I hope that you will also be willing to help us on that. And I'm really grateful that you have confirmed that. So in case we get any students from the team, or even because we have a bit broad network, so some of the times and most of the times even students reach out to us requesting for advice and also some guidance on this complex and practical.
I love your energy.
And now it's a great opportunity even
Yes.
to guide them on how to proceed on the same. And I think we can keep in touch. So in case of anything in future, we'll get just reach out to you. And so for the students,
One question. Before we end, just one question. I was just requesting, if because I know you have a wide network, if we can just have a forum for face-to-face, okay? One day, one time, face-to-face, doing just a conference somewhere face-to-face, so that people can meet, network, and do things that are very cool. I think it would be great. It would be a great day, face-to-face, just like how other clinical trials are being conducted, because I know you have a good network.
Yeah, sure. I think we can plan this, but you know, also we have to plan in advance. But I believe this is something that we can do. But as of now, I think the year has already ended, so I think getting into next year, that's something that we can see how we can implement that.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's something that is possible. We can do that. But in the meantime, we can do what we can virtually. Then when we get the necessary resources to come even organize a quite impactful research conference, bringing together these scientists to share their knowledge or learn from others, I think it will be a very nice opportunity also to meet some professionals like you one-on-one. Thank you so much. So for the students, if you want to get in touch with Kennedy, he has shared his email address on the chat box. Please reach out to him in case you need any advice. At the same time, if you want to our help or reaching out to him, please do not hesitate. We can connect you, and you can be able also to get some advice and guidance from him and from other professionals, because I understand that he also has network on other areas. So in whichever area you have an interest in, especially for those interested in research, don't hesitate to reach out, and we can always see how we can help you achieve your goals. So because of time, we are going to enter today's call. And again, thank you so much, Kennedy, for honoring our invitation and for sharing your knowledge